Burkina Faso, a landlocked nation in the heart of West Africa, has relied on agriculture for centuries. Among its crops, cotton stood as the most valuable, often called white gold. For decades, this cotton stretched endlessly across the Sahel, glimmering in the sun like silver threads. But for the farmers who toiled in the fields, this gold never brought wealth. Families gave their hard-earned cotton to foreign markets, while they remained in poverty. Children's education suffered, homes lacked basic infrastructure, and families struggled to survive. Generations of farmers worked tirelessly, producing wealth for others, never fully benefiting from the fruits of their labor. Then, in 2025, everything changed. President Ibrahim Traoré made a historic decision. He banned the export of raw cotton and ordered the construction of 4 major cotton processing factories within Burkina Faso. Now, raw cotton would stay in the country and be transformed into thread, fabric, and finished garments. It was a bold, unprecedented step. International traders and multinational textile corporations were alarmed. Europe and the United States expressed concern, predicting market disruptions. But for the people of Burkina Faso, it was a moment of hope, pride, and opportunity. Factories sprang up in strategic locations: Bobo-Dioulasso, Kougou, along the Niger border, and the capital Ouagadougou. Trucks that once carried cotton to Europe now transported it to local mills. Every bale harvested created domestic value. Women's cooperatives emerged, producing thread, weaving fabrics, and eventually garments. Villages transformed into hubs of creativity and labor. Schools taught children to value cotton as national wealth, not just raw material for export. The entire country buzzed with energy, optimism, and determination. Farmer Burhima, who had spent his life harvesting cotton, became a symbol of this revolution. "They used to call cotton white gold, but now it's ours because we made it," he said. His words captured the essence of the movement. Not just economic transformation, but dignity, control, and national pride. Neighboring countries, inspired by Burkina Faso, began planning shared factories and regional cotton value chains. The idea of value chain sovereignty started spreading across Africa. Countries could retain control over their resources instead of selling raw materials cheaply and buying back-finished products at high prices. International reactions were swift. The European Union imposed a 35% tariff on processed cotton products, and the United States applied trade restrictions. Multinational corporations warned of market chaos. Yet, President Traoré stood firm. "If our work is punished for being African, then we will wear it ourselves," he said. The country chose self-reliance over dependency, showing that dignity and independence outweigh foreign economic pressure. Women and youth led the change. Cooperatives expanded, villages became production hubs, and young people learned weaving, dyeing, and garment production. Schools incorporated textile engineering into their curriculum, teaching students the complete journey from cotton fiber to finished clothing. National parades showcased local textiles, and soldiers' uniforms bore the label "Faso Made." Household incomes rose, villages prospered, and communities regained hope. The factories operated around the clock. Production surged, creating over 200,000 new jobs. Farmers became skilled foremen and managers. Women managed cooperatives and negotiated contracts. Young workers gained expertise in textile design and engineering. Burkina Faso transformed its cotton industry into a social and economic engine, empowering communities. Global attention followed. China and Turkey proposed investment partnerships, while the UAE offered to establish logistics hubs and maritime routes. Western countries who initially imposed tariffs and sanctions now sought dialogue. For the first time, Burkina wasn't asking for access, it was controlling it. A country of 23 million had rewritten its position in global trade. By 2030, the impact was profound. Schools and vocational centers taught children the entire cotton value chain: spinning, weaving, dyeing, and garment making. Women actively participated in the economy. Towns and villages prospered, lifting families out of poverty. Neighboring countries followed suit, adopting shared value chain models. The idea of economic independence spread across Africa. Small nations realized they could challenge global trade structures and control their own destiny. Cotton became a symbol of labor, skill, and national pride. Every thread told a story: farmers' sweat, women's weaving, children's education. The country learned that true wealth lies not in exported raw materials, but in value created at home. Burkina Faso's story became a blueprint for other nations. Even politics and diplomacy were reshaped. Regional alliances formed around shared cotton corridors, cooperative markets, and integrated infrastructure. Africa began to emphasize industrial sovereignty and domestic value chains. Western analysts observed with concern, realizing that this model could redefine trade across the continent. The revolution continued to expand. Small villages exported finished fabrics regionally. Youth-led fashion startups emerged. Agricultural research improved cotton quality. Women-led cooperatives dominated the textile market, ensuring fair wages. Families once trapped in poverty found financial stability. Burkina Faso had created a thriving ecosystem around its cotton. Global trade dynamics shifted. Burkina Faso's voice in negotiations became influential. Investment flowed from Asia and the Middle East. Western countries, once imposing sanctions, now engaged diplomatically. Burkina Faso, a small African nation, had become a key player in global commerce. Cotton, once white gold for foreign markets, had become national pride. Farmer Burhima summed it up. "We used to sell cotton. Now we weave our country's future. This is our white gold." By 2035, the revolution had transformed not just the economy but society. Vocational education, local industry, women's empowerment, and youth employment all flourished. The cotton value chain created new opportunities and lifted entire communities. Neighboring countries joined the movement, spreading the concept of value chain sovereignty across Africa. Burkina Faso had proven that independence and dignity are more valuable than foreign approval. The revolution demonstrated that even small nations can control their resources, assert themselves in global markets, and transform society. Cotton became a symbol of courage, vision, and labor. It was no longer just a product, it was identity, pride, and future.